Welcome back everyone to Pleasant Valley. We are going to continue today with a small tour of the valley to show you what has been going on. Um, we're starting here in the new family home, the new yard, but there used to be an the previous yard and home site. I'm going to take you there first. It's gonna be a bit of a drive because it's a huge valley, so I am going to cut the stream for a while and I will see you guys um, when I get there because it's gonna be boring to drive there for you. Okay, see you in a minute. So we have arrived here at the old site with the buildings and everything. So we used to live here in the family home. We had a few sheds here and a few hangars. Um, Back there's also root crop storage over there, and then we have the silo system. Um, the site was more on the east side of the valley. I will show you on the map. So we are currently here. Um, the main idea is to empty out the silo because it has the crops of last year harvest in it, and we are going to empty it. And when that's done, we are going to tear down all the buildings, and the land will be integrated in field 50 and 52 so that we have a bigger field here. The reason why that moved the site to another area is because it was a lot more central there. That will be the last area that I show you, so I will show it on the map how more centralized it is. Um, that owned the east side of the valley before my uncle passed away, so that's why his farm was here in the middle of the east side. But well, when he got my uncle's ground, it would have been more efficient to be more centralized. So that's why we moved. Next up will be one of the factory sites. There's two sites with factories actually. One not too far northwest of here, and the other one is southwest of here. So we're going to the northwest one first, and from there we will go more north to the other areas. But I will see you there. So we have arrived at the factory sites. This this biogas plant has always been here for as long as I can remember. So we didn't change anything to this one. Have no intention of moving it. But this side of the area is mostly dedicated to wood and forestry factories. We have several buildings over here where we have, for instance, this sawmill to change the logs into lumber. And then we have several factories. I don't exactly know all of them. I think the first one here is a barrel factory, and then there's wood chipper and factories for making pallets, regular boards, and chip boards, and all those sorts of things. Um, here we have two factories that have yet to be built. As you can see, the area is designated, but there's nothing built yet. That's because we still have to supply the materials. I believe these two were going to be factories for Heinz and Ken's, and this one is going to be some sort of a warehouse. We need all sorts of materials to have these factories built, but we will have to build the factories to provide the materials as well. So it's going to be a process tree. Over here we have the biodiesel plant and some other factories. One is a steel factory, another is concrete factory. All of those still have to be built, and so on. Over here we have a whole bunch of lumber pallets that are originally originated. Oh my god, plain English. These pallets originated from the trees that were cut down to merge the fields. So we had them cut up. There's also a bunch of wood chip which is back at the farm. Here are some more grounds that are designated already but have yet to start building. One of them is a factory of 3M to make glue and tape. Another is for plaster boards and such, plaster and plaster boards. So that is this area. And on the other side over here we have some more warehouses, I believe. We have a small diner over here as well, Wendy's. So the workers of the factories can come eat here, and also a trash collection area. Warehouses over there, and then over here we also have a hardware store. Which is Tractor Supply hardware store. So that's everything for this area. The other area contains some more factories, but first I will go further north to show you the other two areas there before we go back down. So I will see you in a minute. So now we have arrived at the north of the valley. In this area we have placed all the animal husbandry facilities. We chose to put them all here together so the, how do you say it, the odor wouldn't bother too many people. I don't know exactly by heart which is which, but I do know that we have a dog kennel, we have ducks, donkeys, pigs, goats, sheep, cattle, and chickens. So there's a whole bunch of different animals that will need to be provided for over here. We also chose to put in the same area the orchards. That way we could use the manure to create compost and use that to fertilize the orchards. The orchards are right over here. We have all kinds of orchards over here, like for instance the coconuts. We also have cherries, bananas, apricots, I believe this one, yes, apricots. I think this one was apple. olives. Peaches. Oh, this one is peaches. Then the previous one was oranges then. This one are pears. And the last one are plums. So those are our orchards. We also have a bunch of greenhouses. We could have put them in this area as well, and not have to travel too far with the manure. But we chose a different spot for them, and that's where I'm going right now. It's not incredibly far away, so it's doable. And here we are coming up to the greenhouses. You guys may remember that I talked about having our fields planted by contractors, but not fertilized and sprayed. As you can see here, there's a huge amount of weeds in the fields. It's definitely going to hurt our yield, but that's nothing can be done right now. We'll just have to cope with that, and it's still better to have some yield rather than nothing at all. So these are the greenhouses. As you can see here, more produce like watermelon. There's some others over here. I believe this one is red cabbage, yes. And then there's this one, I believe, was tomato. Yep. And then here we have strawberries. And then over here are the other sides. The raspberries, pumpkins, lettuce. Oh, I'm mistaken. Mushrooms, oh yeah. Mushrooms. This one is the lettuce. And then we have cucumbers and also cauliflower. And those were the greenhouses. Next, I will take you down the map towards the south to where the other factories are. Here we have arrived at the second factory site. We have several factories over here that still need to be built. I believe this one was Campbell's Soup that need to be built. Frito-Lay's is also here. This one, and then I believe this would be. I don't remember. I think one is Kellogg's, and the other one I don't remember quite. We do also have a industrial bakery over here that now still needs to be built. Then of course we have our distillery, because you can't do without your liquor. And then we also have a factory over here, which I don't exactly remember what it was. So those are the construction sites for those factories. I'm going to take the highway now. I need to be on the other side, and then we go to the center of the town, where I will show you some of the potential clients as well as the new farm site. So here we are in town, where we have some sell points like Applebee's, also Aldi Market over there. There is a Starbucks near here. Yes, over here. And then we have the farmers market, where we can sell our produce directly to customers. Then over here we have a Taco Bell, and over there should be a McDonald's as well. Yep, there it is. And I believe there's a bank also somewhere. So these are our clients, not yet, but they could be potential clients once we start growing our produce again and build our factories to make items that they can sell. And then finally here we have our dealer for farm equipment, which is pretty close to the farm because our farm is not too far from here actually, which is pretty neat that you don't have to go too far. If you have a problem, they can send a mechanic pretty quick if the machine is still at the farm. Let's see. So here we are at our new farm site. This one is much larger than the previous one. We have a lot more space for storage. We have different types of storages as well. Over here we have different bales that we can store. Over here we have the wood chips that resulted from cutting those trees. Don't worry, we replanted trees in 2 areas in the valley. So it's not that we eliminated all of the trees here. Now we have some silage bunkers. And over there we have root crop storage. Currently only the wood chips and the straw hay bales are stored here because all the rest is still empty. As you can see, there's nothing in storage right now here. These were built during the winter and would have been stupid to hold the root crops and the grains over here just to load them again to bring to our customers. This one as well is empty. It's a very big silo complex with a built-in dryer and a covered grain pit and loading pipe. So when we load trailers, we are not dependent on the weather. And here we have just storage buildings for machinery. They do have doors, but with the large overhang, we don't tend to close them. The machines are covered. They're protected from sunlight, so that's sunlight and rain. That's the most important part. So you have three of these larger buildings. This one is completely empty almost. But I'm pretty sure that when we start acquiring equipment, they will fill up pretty quick. Um, on site, we also have our fuel barrels over here, fuel tanks, and also a workshop. So that is the new yard. There are not many details. There are no fences yet. There's still open area for buildings, but we will have to check that what is necessary. Also the farmhouse over here. So that was the tour of the map. Now I still have some things to show you that I have not yet been to, because the map is just too large. So like I showed you in this area where our old farm site is, which was east of the map. Um, and now you can see over here is now our farmyard, which is a lot more central, less traveling times to the other fields. Also, we are close to the factories, which are in this area over here. Going north from there, we come up to the animal area as well as the orchards, which are in this area. Um, and over here, we have the greenhouses. This is the second site with factories, and then there's some other interesting points that will be shown in later videos. We have two areas with forestry, which is all the way up north and all the way in the southeast corner. And then we have a lake which we can dig silt from, and then also we have the sand, salt, or gravel and coal which can be mined. But so far no preparations have been made for those facilities, so we will have to check in the future what we will do with those, because we will need those, um, coal and ore, gravel, all for the different factories that we have. So we will check that as well. I think that's most of the map covered. So I'm going to leave it at that, and I will see you guys in the next video. See you soon.